So we are going to start with the oracle cards, and the oracle cards are going to tell you, you know, well, you can come to the top. You can kind of like burst out of your own core and just like see where they can take you. Then we're going to go to the tarot part of the reading, and tarot will be a little bit lower, and we're going to see, okay, so I can still go up, I can still kind of get and achieve this, but I'm so tired. I'm actually really happy where I am. Sort of is going to show you like pitfalls and everything that is happening at level. Then we are going to go lower. We're going to go to Lenormand, and Lenormand is going to tell us sort of like, okay, I see the lay of the land, I see what's going on and see who is who, I can see what's coming my way. And then lastly, we are going to go all the way to the ground to basically Gypsy spread, and it's going to be, okay, there are so many different characters, there's so many different things going on, we're going to see all kind of intrigues and all kind of possibilities, different kind of like storylines. And also we're going to have the interactive part where you can actually ask a question and pick your own answer. So now guys, you got, like you got both volcano and tsunami. So I'm just trying to see, pardon me, I'm just trying to see how do I go about explaining all of that. So let's go with volcano. It could be that something has been brewing for a while and it's coming to the last stages. It's certainly telling me that it's going to be a volatile time, and there'll be unexpected changes, and sometimes sudden, sometimes dramatic, and it's going to be situations that you're going to have no control over, right? Just imagine you're driving and the tire explodes. So what do you do? In this kind of situations, you need to adjust really, really quickly. And how do you really adjust? The crystal card is probably coming next for that reason, right? Because you will adjust by actually bringing your complete focus to whatever you're just trying to find out in that moment, and whatever you're trying to resolve. You will have to eliminate all distractions, because see, these lights over here are talking about all the spiritual and metaphysical forces that you can actually have behind the crystals. So whether this focus is going to be on a project, a relationship, or just simply on the relaxing time that you might need after all this like big blow up, right? This is asking you to sharpen your focus, and this is talking about awareness. Awareness is that really interesting quality that we people have, right? Because we do have our thoughts, and we kind of like try to think in a way, but thoughts are not awareness. Thoughts are what makes us slaves, because we kind of become prisoners of that. And that's why volcano sometimes happens, because no matter what we think about, it's not getting us where we want to get. So awareness is like that aha moment. Awareness is like what kind of like frees you from that slavery. And this is the way to get there. It's kind of having this focus, it's having clarity, and keeping your eyes, ears, and heart focused on what you need to pay attention to, right? This is kind of something that is going to kind of get through it, because you're getting this lotus flower, which kind of like is a really interesting card. And it's talking about unfoldment, right? So lotus is an interesting flower, and it's kind of like really used in so many decks because of its kind of like special quality of the lake or of a body of water, and the stem is reaching up to the surface, and this is kind of like looking so elegant and beautiful, right? At night it closes and it sinks below the surface, just again to raise and shines. So this is telling me that this is making sense, because there are parts of you that you were neglecting. You were probably going and something has been brewing, and maybe you were suppressing it because you need to focus on what you want. This is telling me that you see, this is asking for awareness. So this is telling me maybe something has been occurring that you still didn't click in, you did not get aware, because like the lotus, your soul is always reaching for the light to fulfill its basically karmic destiny. But even in the process, there are like many periods of darkness, and there are times to rest, right? It happens all of a sudden, all the energy just like jumps out. So this is just basically asking you to allow the place in you that wants to follow to the light, meaning your steady faith and love will guide you in the journey. It's focus. Don't focus on somebody else. Focus on what you want to experience and what you think ideal would be, right? Because you're getting this music card, and after all this turbulence, so look at this explosion and saying, okay, the tire just exploded. Hold on to the wheel. Focus. Remember that this is happening for a reason. And that reason is like you coming back into harmony. And look at this, you have this music card. Music, what would our life be without music? It's kind of not something that, you know, humans invented. Music has been around since time begun. I actually was amazed. I did get something on my Facebook feed, and I put it on Cat Tarot Facebook feed about crickets. A guy recorded crickets and slowed down the recording. Oh my god, that's a symphony and harmony. It was just like absolutely spectacular. I listened and listened and listened. I probably never heard anything that beautiful in my life, right? So this kind of different textures of sound have existed as long as any beings on this planet. And even without beings, like the winter and the wind and the sun, they all have their own sound, their own texture. Did you actually ever lie down on the sun and hear that beautiful sound, right? So when we were like really ancient, right, then as ancient people were paying attention to sounds, the rhythms and vibrations, and that was actually helping them to survive. But as we have evolved, then we created these instruments, right, and then they mimic the music of the natural world, right? So here we see the two women with stringed instruments, and they're kind of creating some kind of harmony over here. They're kind of seemingly absorbed in their playing, that kind of they almost appear to be in a trance. Maybe they're simply allowing music to be going through them. So this is all things happen for you to understand that all these things basically were normal part of the karmic cycle. You are getting into these feelings of harmony, and the challenge here is to sustain this, right? To understand where you should be, because all of these kind of wake-up calls, all of this volatility is happening because you actually don't have it in the first place, right? The challenge is like to really not experience kind of dissonance outside of your mind. Sometimes like we're so focused, we want it, and usually that I want it reflects on other things outside of us. This is inner side. It is going through it, kind of releasing the energy of your internal state. This music is like literally what comes from you to the rest of the world, because here you kind of like pushed out all these negative parts, all these boiling parts, all this anger is out, and rapidly, and then it's kind of followed with a huge enormous wave. That receding is actually a clear sign of impending tsunami. And then this means that we actually cannot operate in pure on instinct. They're picking up on clues and naturally seeking higher ground before an approaching tsunami reaches the land, right? So you kind of have to be alert. Dark suppresses light, and everything kind of works together for this unified whole. And then we have the yin and yang, that every kind of day has a tinge of the dark, and every night has a tinge of a day, right? So yeah, the eagle is the freedom, is the higher basically spaces, seeing things from above, right? But the swan is elegance, purity, and it's something that really connects with emotions, where eagle always connects with the power. So which one are we? Are we the eagle? Are we the swan, right? So the truth is neither. We are actually the union of everything. We are the union of male and female, fire and water, life and death. And basically when we get this card is talking about this new creation, new life, mystical union. This is also called an alchemy, right? And this is talking about resolving conflict. And this is why we had both tsunami, you see the water on this end, and you see the volcano on this end. So this is asking that everything for you guys are getting reconciled, right? Unless some psychological or physiological defect or drama, then the person gets split and becomes two people, and that's what basically manifests as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, right? Because this bridge is very fragile. see, sometimes with these kind of people, and one part of the day you're very loving and kind, in the next moment, or by the evening, you are angry and different or indifferent, and you don't even remember the way you were in the morning. So you guys need to kind of come to crystallization, to focus. So they are not two minds. You cannot be of two minds. You cannot have, okay, the two directions are happening, or I have to see, well, maybe I'm going to this way or the other way. You're actually not going to be given lots of choice. You're going to almost go into PhD this time around. Which time you're turning right. Your hands, eyes, and feet have to work at the same time. So this is the alchemy you're creating. And there is no room for anger. If you need to burst it out, burst it out. But ask yourself why. Why did you feel this way? And if you're maybe seeking some kind of like feed or power from the outside. Ultimately, about being centered. This is like the source we're talking about. This card basically reminds us that there is a vast reservoir of energy that is kind of available to us. I have never ever felt this in my life. And it's not happiness, it's not sorrow, it was not a bad feeling, but it was extremely intense. It didn't last long. It maybe lasted less than a minute, but it was significantly different. It just like made me feel, I wish I can say how, but I truly don't have the words to describe this. So seeing this card kind of like gave me this idea that really maybe there was something from the outside that you are going to feel it that way, that maybe you're sitting at the very source, and hence maybe you generally feel this energy on the outside, because obviously this shows the sun, right? But what if you are at the very source? What if you're the very energy of light and love? That you can create this energy, that you are the one, that you are this, that radiate this energy out there. Then the source will decide where your potential is. Into integration and the source to kind of like finish this off. So the next, guys, we are going to look at your tarot. I'm going to look at your spiritual messages. Okay, so let's see what's on the bottom of your decks. Whoa, 7 of Swords. And you deserve love. You're lovable. I don't like this card. Are you feeling that something is missing and something is being taken right under your nose? Or are you guys feeling that you deserve better? Or maybe you're feeling that somebody is just like taking things from you, and that you deserve, you know, like some kind of like respect. This is certainly talking about something that you feel wronged about, something that you're going to wake up and be shocked. So I can tell that volcano and that not tornado, tsunami is something that probably people experience after putting some effort, kind of coming to it, and then just like things vanishing. This is not to say, and I don't want you that because of these reasons you doubt yourself. When the card you deserve love shows up, it talks about it shouldn't be kind of doubting yourself. It is the problem is out there. It is not you. So let's see what we have here. Chemistry, lovely, strong connection, healing family issues. Well, it's never enough of that, right? Forgiving and learning. Oh yeah, now I can see why you're going to that volcano and tsunami. This could be the one. It is safe for you to love. Engagement, finances and career, soulmate, wedding, and heart-to-heart conversations. Okay. Chemistry, you're coming back to somebody, or somebody's coming back to you. Like this generally talks about, okay, I kind of like maybe some of you were moving on. Some of you felt that where you are, it's kind of tough and stuck, and or at the very least, it's not a place where you should be, where you should reside. And it's a time to, okay, let's transfer ourselves. You know, there's like the scary look on a kitty's face, but and even on the little kitty's face, it is just kind of like could be a child or inner child. I'm doing this to protect everybody. But here is like the doubt that we have. Are we doing the right thing? Should we be leaving? Should we be staying? It's kind of sometimes coming back to not necessarily things that are great for us, but there is a great chemistry there. And then it's asking of you to kind of like maybe look in the issues. Maybe you're doing something for the wrong reasons, because it's asking you to heal family issues, to kind of look where long time ago you felt the same need, like you maybe need your partner to express more love, or you feel your partner is not giving. Which one of your parents felt like it? What situation in your life you had like it? Just try to see if you can relate something that happened a long time ago, because as children we are really not rational. We didn't get an ice cream and immediately we are victim, right? So now sometimes these emotions get so buried that we become victim in situations that we shouldn't be. So this is asking you to backtrack, try to find out, so that way we figure out, check mark, lesson done, finally finished, okay, I'm getting my ice cream now, I'm moving on. You see, it is about who is your soulmate. It was some communication with the person of interest, or going and merging with a soulmate. This kind of talks about some kind of embarrassment that maybe happened to you, that is kind of now hard for you to fully kind of like open up, like that lotus flower. You have to unfold. You simply are coming back to something that already pre-existed. It could be a condition, it could be a person. This is literally a period of you to heal. That's why I said I saw where this volcano and tsunami fits in, because you literally have to get everything out. You know, it's kind of like, okay, let's start all over again. Let's clean this glass. Let's wash it. It's going to be nice and clean all over again. So it's forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And look, there you go. There is this new start. And look at this peeking over. Oh my gosh, I want to go up to this mountain. I need to go. I want to go. And you just have to roll this pentacle, and there's like a new world behind this. This always foretells great new beginning. It always foretells something slower, but something built really, really properly. And it's kind of like building a completely new path for yourself, the one that you're very conscious of, that one that you really want to walk. So see, this tells me in the past there was this soulmate. This could be the one. And look at this Queen of Cups. Somebody who could have been very giving, somebody who can be kind, somebody who loves animals, somebody who likes people and children, or just simply somebody who is a Scorpio or a water sign. And again, this is kind of reinforcement of you deserve love. It is safe for you to love. And it says, look, you need to practice this love. Remember the harmony card, love to yourself first. You have to establish this harmony, because then you vibrate properly. Guys, Google the Cricket Symphony. Oh my gosh, it was spectacular. Because look, maybe for some of you, life is a battlefield right now. It's a lots of communication, it's a lots of misunderstandings, and lots of pull and push. And yeah, it is safe for you to love. And you know, just because you love somebody doesn't mean that they can walk over you. It means that you can assert yourself and establish your own boundaries. And that's how it goes. The entire life is negotiation. And if you want to be in a relationship, negotiation has to be your mastery. You really, really have to conquer it. You have to have PhD in this, because if you don't, it's going to be really, really hard. You guys are destined to go ahead. And again, here I'm seeing this, you're having both engagement and wedding cards and soulmate here. This is why you're cleaning the slate in order to start all over again. So engagement is going to be after some surprising events. Well, that volcano and the tsunami are going to spout out a whole bunch of things out. So yeah, I guess things need to be cleared. They need to come out before they go further. And this is again asking you, just like here, you really, really need to ground yourself. The love is great, but you also have to have a really firm sense of who you are, why you're going, and where you're going. And you might feel a bit lonely. You might feel, oh my gosh, like, I mean, what if I never kind of become and be with somebody? What if I'm just like this little soul walking and trying to find my own star? It could be like this kind of like sense of doubt that happens when Hermit is reversed. Hermit is actually a really good card. Hermit is asking us to really go deep inside of us, right? It's not a lonely card, because this is saying that you are not going deep inside. You are not realizing you are this source. So this is kind of like running away from your own responsibilities, from your own kind of vision of who you are. It's really, really important to realize that the answers are inside of you. So this is your environment. So soulmate, possibly some goals, possibly some visions, possibly wondering where to go, possibly some kind of trip over here. Look at this. The ships are sailing. So what's about the situation that involves marriage? These are hopes and fears. Is this your marriage, guys? Are you involved with somebody who's married or somebody who is in a serious relationship? Do you really want to get married? Do you have issues about the marriage? There are some kind of secrets apropos that subject. We are going to clarify that later. And then trajectory for the 6 weeks, 7 weeks is heart-to-heart conversations. There will be a level of honesty and need to actually assess the situation and discuss the situation and see how and where things can go. Wow, the devil. The devil is in the details. It's heart-to-heart conversations, guys. You might be guided with the lust. You might be guided with this intense need for this person, because look at this, you have the devil and then you have the soulmate. Be very careful, and I think this is why you have this whole bunch of things. Is asking you for focus. Things will be coming out because we have that like enormous fire here, and we have this water here. It's going to be a whole bunch of things that will be appearing to you as if they're real, but they're not real. The answers, remember, are inside. Whenever you kind of face a situation that is happening to on the outside, somebody says something to you, somebody leaves you, remember, this is them. By you kind of interacting with them, you're interacting on the outside of you. Oops, pardon me. Remember, you are the source. You kind of need to integrate. So by you not replying and kind of like instead working on your own center, on your own music, on your own harmony, you're actually waking yourself up. And you will actually be surprised. You'll surprise yourself and you will surprise the other person. Because if you just say, okay, well, this is all happening because certain things need to come out, it's kind of going to be interesting kind of like scenario. And it's going to be, well, this is why it says here, it's going to be some different direction. It's going to come out of nowhere. So let's see what happened with this person. Yeah, like, look, somehow it's really hard to take on. It's like you're starting the car in the winter and it's rambling and idling and it just doesn't want to go on. See, certain bad things and few things happen. Somebody knew right and wrong, but they chose wrong. And it's a big question mark because of this. You see, there is a 20, there is the judgment card. This is one of these karma cards. And this is relating to all these twos and all these decisions. So the person who could be the one could be one of the soulmates. And that's why we do have a soulmate card on the other side. But the soulmate has to kind of like reach their own payment of things. And maybe that karma that is coming to them, it's going to be the tsunami you're going to have. It's going to be volcano. So keep in mind, when people choose the wrong path, very rarely they just fess up, and very rarely they just come to you and say, yeah, you know, yeah, I was like bad and yeah, I should be punished. No, we live in a society where people double down, and if they do that, just exercise your own harmony. Lotus closes down. Do not allow them to injure you. Do not be open to them if they're not willing to grow themselves. And just tell them, look, feel free to come back to me when you're ready to talk like an adult. Until then, you know where to reach me. That's simply the most mature kind of approach that you can have in this situation. Because you need to forgive and learn And this is basically what it's saying. And this is going to be volcanic explosion. It's going to be a whole bunch of tears. It's going to be a tsunami. So remember when I said, just watch when somebody receding. If you kind of like have a question and people start pulling in or even attacking you, because these are just two sides, tsunami and volcano, it's something to put a big question mark on. But look, you're going to have the strength about everything. Like this is your card, 8, the strengths. You're going to approach things in a very gentle manner. You're going to be a great communicator, and you're going to literally kind of like figure out how to make these things work and last. Again, there's like something about the wedding, and be careful because somebody is maybe giving you a wrong advice. Somebody's maybe putting you on the wrong path. You know, like when you stop on an intersection and somebody wants to pull your leg and you're asking them for directions and they purposely tell you the wrong direction. That's something that happened here, and that's something that's happening here. This also could be somebody who is married but who is just forgetting to say that he's married, or somebody who doesn't want to get married. So let's see about this 6 of Swords, just coming back to something. Oh man, there are like 3 people, and here I see these 3 people, and this could be a 3 people here. And the Devil card definitely talks about the exes or ex-spouses or possibly somebody else hovering. So look at this. This is taking a step back in the chemistry that you feel. You're kind of looking at things differently, and maybe you're even feeling that you're kind of advancing your case. It's kind of like feeling that maybe you won, but also you might be feeling humbled. You may be feeling hurt. You may be feeling humiliated. It can be a range of it. This is kind of like when your mind plays games on you. Oh, look at this. More steps back. So it's definitely the hurt of the 3 people. And it looks like you're coming back. What is the reason of coming back? I guess the heal, to kind of figure out what happened. Because there was somebody you felt it was a soulmate. There is the healing. Again, the healing card saying, looking up, look for your bright star. You have to open up to the other people. You have to regain your stability, because there is no stability right now. There is no control over the situation, and I think this is what is really shaking you. And there are also miscommunications. You kind of like are wondering how to continue with this, but there you go, you have the Lover's card. So it looks like there will be choices to be made, and the choices might be good. And look, there is like some kind of wife or husband card. I always see it as a wife card. So choice between the 2 things, because look at, you had a 5 over here and you have 5 here, some instability, and 5 here on the main trajectory. There will be instability. Well, volcano and tsunami is that. I don't know how this plays. Maybe there is a 3rd person, and yet it's telling you continue for some reason. Geez, that's different than me. Like whenever I see the 3rd person in any vicinity, I'm gone. It's just like gone. So what is about this engagement? Look at this again, taking a step back. It's going to be something shocking, and you might actually just decide not to communicate. There's going to be, instead of moving to the next level, kind of stepping back and wondering if you want to go about it. Because look at that, that's also a wife. It could be some clinging behavior. Somebody's clinging. Maybe somebody's trying to move further into their dedication. So the Empress talks about, well, again, is the wife, just like what we saw where it was over here. But this one is even more important. But something is getting stuck over there, guys. Because look at surprising events, delayed messages at best, at worst, kind of no messages, stagnation, then clinging. And that's what happens, guys, when you don't have harmony. You're trying to cling onto something, right? When you have comfort into whatever it is, you just don't cling. You have lots of major arcanas coming out, right? Look at this. 1, 2. Do we have here? No. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. it's obviously that's why you had both tsunami and volcano. So let's see about this. Yeah, look at this, another 9 and 9, anxiety. You know what, keep going through it, keep going through it. You'll feel it's coming to you from all sides. Last phase, guys, last phase. You are moving into, is asking for the focus. Anxiety happens when there is lack of focus. Loneliness happens when there is lack of focus, right? Loneliness is not the natural emotion. Lotus. Loneliness is manufactured emotion, because this is what happens when the lotus goes down under the water during the night. So what, you're stopping this ebb and flow? You can. You have to enjoy the wave on the top of it, and you have to enjoy when it kind of recesses. It's not nothing you can do. Even tsunami, you kind of like have to ride that wave, and it's going to kind of like be interesting, because maybe you have anxiety over some kind of union, or maybe you have to overcome anxiety to get to a certain union. There are all these questions that maybe you're debating, maybe you're sitting on the fence, and hence this is creating your loneliness. This definitely talks about insecurity. And how do you beat insecurity? You beat insecurity with harmony, and harmony is music. Harmony is like you grounding yourself. Harmony is going inside of you, right? So keep this in mind when you see it, because this is the power of worry and regret, and worry and regret is the product of our mind, and you are trying to get into product of the heart, right? So you kind of have to use the same tools in order to do that. So let's see the soulmate. What's going on with the soulmate? One step forward, 2 steps behind. There are some kind of marital issues, or issues with either your soulmate or somebody. You will maybe feel the chase is not happening. They're kind of like, it's a good start, but kind of like stalls for some reason. And there are, this card tells me disturbance in the relationship for some reason. So is it yours? Is this, maybe it could be 2 people, because I see the third party. If it's third party, one party is very clingy, and another party is doubting, having a low self-esteem, and having these anxieties. So neither of the 2 parties, actually neither of the 3 parties are feeling comfort over here. There's complete lack of stability, and it looks like they all need to heal. Like you see, one party is in the past and something didn't take off. Then second party is like somehow in a trajectory that it's on your mind because it's crowning you, right? And then we see here a clingy attitude in the future, right? So what about this wedding and the secrets? And the secrets, but somehow you're not going to feel very happy about that. The Wheel of Fortune is another karma card. Look at this, it's on the other side, here and here. This is definitely holding the secrets, and this is some kind of turn of a bad luck. But this can be temporarily, because it's really interesting, because now we have 3 tenths. So it's a new cycle happening, and this is what you have, which is you guys. Do you see this pretty little kitty cat over here on the bottom? So you're coming to yourself. I'm so glad to see it. You, however, are trying to stand firm amidst everything that's going on. So this is a volcano, that's tsunami, and you're trying to find your lotus, your kind of harmony, your focus, your unfoldment. And this is done through communicating this month, guys. So wow, this is possibly one of these biggest, mind you, I did see the Scorpio, I seen Aries. I think after the solar eclipse, we guys are massively all going through the huge motion, and it's almost a big push. These are not small steps. Before it was like tiny little, and because you're a fire sign, you're given huge, because volcano is a liquid water, right? Like liquid fire. So that's one of these kind of strengths where everything kind of unites, right? And tsunami is this enormous power that can actually crush everything, which is opposite power of yours. And obviously saying, look, even that tsunami cannot crush this volcano. Volcano is that powerful, and it's asking of you to have some huge awakening. So guys, we are going to go into Lenormand next. I'm going to put the cards on the table and going to click right back when, here, let me just lift it up, the gentleman and the lady. And these two significators can be genderless, saying or proposal or something happening, has been happening. But there's one person who kind of like have been going through kind of really difficulties in their life, and some new motion, some moving forward might be cut. Here I see that healing. It's kind of weird. Like, I mean, there is some kind of trouble for some of you, and for other ones, so kind of almost like I cannot make decision. Do I want to travel? Do I want to go forward? Do I not want to go forward? This could be actually applicable to your partner as well. Now, the other of you have this huge karmic influence because you have the cross right next to you, and the coffin is in a cross house. And that's again the key to the tower. It's again this wedding. So I have like here I see the wedding, and here I see the wedding. And this is the key to the house. You guys are saying, this is it. I need to move to the next level. I need to know what the hell is going on, and I need to know it now. So for some of you, there are crossroads here. And the roads are, I need to find out a soothing kind of presence of basically the source that you got here. So you just need to remember that you are not just to absorb, that you are the center, that you can affect it. So this is also talking about some kind of entrepreneurial activities and maybe some nagging issues that are happening. Some kind of communication, there is resolution of issues, there is lucky break, the house and the anchor and the lovebirds and a child. Some of you might be getting pregnant really soon, kind of like some of you might be dealing with people who are gray, who have gray hair, who are definitely, this could be doctor, and the healing forward is being cut off. But then here is the motion forward, and also the stork. It's kind of like it can mean a job promotion, it can mean a new job, it can be a communication about something else. So it's kind of like it's going to be one step forward, one step back. Kind of it's going to mix back for either some of you or your partners, but for others of you it's going to be, look, I need complete clarity. This cross is here. Mind you, this cross also could mean religious reasons, and that usually happens when there's marriage. Again, it could be wedding or something happening here that is kind of making you decide, where do I want to go? Maybe you want to marry, your partner doesn't want to marry, so that's kind of could be one of those volcanic things. That's it, I have wasted my time with you. Well, when did you know it? Why didn't you tell me? Or it could be like, look, things cannot continue going the way they are going if we want to make it work. So it's going to be lots of things, right? And lots of communication, and things actually are going to work well. You're going to kind of like try to uncover certain secrets, because we see here like these healing snakes just here and here. Again, is this repetition. So lots of healing is going to take place, just like what you had in the basically core of your reading. Okay guys, now I'm going to put the gypsy cards down, and you don't have to be present to see me laying down the cards. So by the magic of clicking on a computer, you're going to see me in 1 second. Okay guys, gypsy cards, and let me just give you, you don't have to pay attention to it, but interestingly enough, here she is right next to the wedding, and you have the thief. So it's going to be interesting. Then we have the so what is really interesting here, and we actually have a foe, but this foe is not going to play any kind of role over here as well. Some of you are feeling that you're waiting for something, that somehow there is no lift off. You're feeling sad. You're thinking a lot how to go. Remember the eagle and the swan, which way to go about that. The others of you, the wives or something, you might have a rival that you feel that they are stealing and creating the issues in your life, right? And kind of like you kind of like a fed up with a conversation, wife, and yet there is actually one more person around. So it's a possible there's a cluster of people. So this wife has the wedding marriage, and they came to the surface, maybe reunited with your mate, and yet there is still the feeling of being inside, and you're trying to get out. Look at this, this is going in and this is going out. This is like tornado and, pardon me, the volcano and tsunami. Now the thief and misfortune together, certain things are not going to happen. Like there is this three kind of third party. For possibly every woman out there that is listening, there is a feeling of there is something. It could be either a third party or feeling inadequate. and certain things are not moving on in the other direction or good direction. But there is like this scholar here, which kind of like, this also can mean that there is a younger woman that is messing up, because look at this could be a daughter, but it's going to be younger, and things are, some ideas are falling down. And so this is one guy who is faithful to the situation, or faithful to these issues with the child. But the question is like, who is the father of the child? Almost looks like the wife is, and now we don't know who's the father. There could be two contestants for it. In any case, looks like fortune and something tragically happening. There'll be an attempt to communicate, but like, where is the daughter? Yeah, there is no counseling happening. Interesting, because I'm actually seeing these cards that we have here. Like, this is unfoldment. That's exactly what I'm seeing. Like, it's almost like, you know, when you're watching the movie and then you see this scene and that scene and that scene, and then at the end of the movie all of them come together and everything starts to make sense. So this is basically that volcano, and this is the tsunami that is happening. So it looks like the solutions are inside, because maybe the mourning has to happen and harmony has to be reached, right? Because it looks like some of you are putting an end to it, and you're not able or even willing to negotiate anything. This kind of almost can look like a divorce over here, right? Whenever the priest shows up, this can be a priest or a lawyer. Look, it's the end of something. And the merchant also means I'm not negotiating anymore. I don't really care anymore. It certainly is asking for focus. It certainly is asking for going inside, right? Again, this is also going inside. Why? Because this whole conversation, these journeys are not happening on the outside. It's everything is asking you to go inside this month, guys. So this is your month. This is like where you're going. So it's going to be really interesting. I would love to hear from you. It's just like, make sure, remember you had this card that you are lovable. Make sure that nobody takes basically, you know, your fire, because it looks like you're going to be doubting yourself. You are giving power to the other people. You are creating quite a bit of sadness yourself. Look at the sorrow. You're feeling heaviness. You're feeling jealous. Some of you, you're feeling unlucky. You're feeling you have to wait, and always like, looks like some of your life is turning into waiting. But this is that volcano here that we have seen. That's the tsunami as well, and now we know why. It's happening about some kind of thief, and there is a promise of everything will work out okay. While we love each other, we'll have a child. It's right here, but the intimacy is not happening. And yeah, there is this feeling of the third person, and it's the feeling of the younger woman or younger man. So it looks like the three people here might still do okay. That one person, not so much. The person who seems to be a wife or mother seems to have the hard time. And yet, this is the person who might actually be the one who gets pregnant. So it's going to be really interesting. But ultimately, yeah, this also can be on a trajectory for a divorce. Some of you are just going to have the communication is going to really, really make you sad, and kind of understanding, and that's what we had, 9 of Wands. Some surprising events will occur. The others will feel stuck. However, the others are going to kind of like face their own music. And you see, this is again, okay, should I wait for things to kind of start turning around? Because this is something long distance over here that's happening, and we saw that in the trajectory there of the gentleman as well. But there is something hard to build, because see, actually there's somebody here who's getting a counseling. So actually I was wrong. So let me see. Yeah, so some of you are getting counseling. Some of you are like getting counseling via friendship, but some of you are getting counseling via family. But this is like ridiculous. Also, you have to beware who your real friends are, because I'm seeing this. People almost, you know, sometimes enjoy themselves in the other people's misfortune. So you have to figure out the loyalties to you. Alright guys, this is a general reading. For your personal reading, contact me, and then we actually really see your particular thing. So this is the part where you can actually pick your own answers. So which door is going to be? You have the door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. And this is for both Leos and cross watchers, because you're obviously attracted to the Leo energy, so it should be fine. So for the door number 1, 4 of sky. Some of you just want to curl up and disappear. It's just like too much for you. So this is that unfoldment, kind of like, okay, right now it's the dark, let me sleep. But make sure if you're relaxing that you're integrating things, that you are doing your meditation, that you're understanding that you're the source, that you're trying to get into harmony. This is not non-productive time. So here things are not going to move very much, but this is still, as you see the purple, you have it twice. Purple is a really, really high level color. Guiding to the purple is to the highest level, going from the source, from the bottom to the top. And you have it in your reading. And this is now reinforcing it. Door number 2. So for this one here, no, but it's a lots of things brewing under the surface. Not the right time. Door number 2. We have 8 of Cups reversed, Page of Swords, and 7 of Pentacles. Somebody's coming back if you ask for that question, but it could be a lots of still abrasive energy, and that very energy might actually make you, well, this is that volcano energy, kind of like you just get it out, and it's going to make you wonder which kind of road to take. 7 of Pentacles means, okay, well, this has been done so far. Do I really like where I came with this answer? And it's kind of going to most likely be a decision to persist and continue. So this can be even reunion, that actually we see it here as well. And the door number 3. Wow. We have 3 of Cups reversed. See these 3s that we had, the third party, the World reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So this is very much about the third person. This is very much about what's going to happen. This is the wife card. This is the rival. You kind of like want to stick to the times that you kind of really like. And this is again kind of like very similar to people who had asked this question. Kind of, is there illusion? Can you really stay? Remember how we were talking about, you have this tsunami and you have a volcano. You really cannot stick around. And it doesn't matter if you're a Leo or not asking this question. This is asking, look, if there is a third person, you cannot slice out the past and kind of like make it fit. You have to blur it out, because this is asking for things to continue. Volcano bursts out and continues. Tsunami recedes and comes back. So this is telling me there are issues you need to deal with. There is a third person you need to deal with. You cannot be happy until this has been discussed and dealt with, and until you reach some kind of harmony. And lastly, there is a card that I pulled to seal this reading for you, Leo. And this card is Home. And this is what it says. You're comfortable in your own skin. You belong. Peace, security, safety, belonging, and all the features one would want from home are indicated now. The Home card represents an invitation to experience what it's like to be secure in your own skin, to live comfortably no matter what is happening in the world around you. It's a time for opening your eyes to your tribe of like-minded people, or one special person who makes you feel like you have come home. Home is love, and love is all around you now. Whatever your inquiry, you are where you are meant to be, and will reap great benefits by staying on its path regardless of where it leads. Home will always be with you. It is where the heart is. So guys, just keep persisting. Everything that is happening for a reason. You are getting on the next level. And don't be afraid or ashamed of having volcanic temperament, or having even needing to pull back if you need to pull back. Maybe there'll be emotions like that. Maybe there'll be situations. Maybe there'll be occurrences where you'll be sad, but you'll be happy. Ultimately, this is literally helping your own growth, and you need to kind of understand your own power and your own source of your own strength, because you are on a trajectory to go really, really high, to kind of like really kind of like get what you need. Getting in a harmony, and harmony is basically home. It's absolutely lovely way to be, but nothing is really easy, and this is what the card also told us, that we kind of have to keep that in mind. So be focused on where you're going, because if you lose this focus, you'll kind of keep ending up in volcano and tsunami situation. So dear Leos, thank you so much for being patient with this long session. So the next time I might actually have it shorter and have the longer ones on Vimeo. So I would love to hear your comments, and if you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe or like, and join the Facebook, where I kind of have completely different approach and teach you tarot and different kind of things. And of course, for your private reading and to get something really that is specific energy that is yours, contact me via www.cattarot.ca. Love you guys. Have wonderful September and October.